14th, 2025 council meeting. All council members are in attendance and Mayor Murphy is joining us via Zoom. Town of Paw acknowledges that we are gathered on Treaty 5 territory, the traditional lands of our neighbors of Passamaquoddy Cree Nation, as well as many other Cree, Dene, and Oji-Cree peoples, and is the homeland of the Red River Métis people. We'll call the meeting to order. Now, adoption of the agenda.
Don't see any additions anywhere? So moved by myself, second by Councillor Allen, resolve that the agenda be adopted as presented.
Question? Hearing none. In favor? And 0 against. Okay, confirmation of the minutes.
Resolution number 2025-185, moved by myself, second by Councillor Hopper, resolved that the minutes of the regular council public hearing of September 22nd and special council meeting of September 29th be hereby approved, all statutory declarations having been complied with.
Thank you. Call the question?
I got a comment, Councillor Atkinson or Deputy Mayor.
That's okay, go ahead.
Sorry, in the just as a clarification, in the special meeting of the public hearing, it said all was present, but I think Councillor Forster had come in quite late, so I wonder if that should be noted in the meeting minutes. I thought you came. Oh, you came in at the last 10 minutes.
Yes, the title I have to be corrected. Yeah, he came late and Councillor Allen.
Which means
Two of them.
Oh yes, right.
Yeah,
you had your Mondays mixed up. We thought you were going to be out. Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah, I was late for the public hearing on the 22nd.
yes.
So you're wanting the minutes to reflect that, just to be
Yes,
clear?
please. Yeah.
Okay.
Just
Is
that they
there-
weren't there for the whole discussion.
We have it there already on call to order. Councillor Foster and Councillor Allen.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
After the first reading of the special
Okay.
service levy bylaw.
That's a good point. Thank you, Bo. I didn't see that there.
Any other questions? Hearing none, in favor? Against? 0. Okay. Now we move on to recognition period. I have a few things here, so I'll start with them. The Order of the Buffalo Hunt is one of Manitoba's highest honors, awarded to those demonstrating exceptional service and dedication to the people of the province. Symbolizes strength, leadership, and commitment to the community. And Town of the Paw has been recognized for the wildfire response that happened this summer. So congratulations to everyone who was involved in that. It's not just an event, this is an honor. So thank you everyone for all the work that took place this past summer. The Blizzard had their home opener. It feels like forever since we've been here. I also have the community safety well-being plan. That meeting took place and that was, thank you for everyone who participated in that as well. Culturama took place and that entire week, other than just Culturama, was fabulous. Everyone who participated in that and took the time to present, we thank you. The swearing-in ceremony was last week as well for the new chief, Michael G. Constant, and his council, and we welcome working with them as well as trying to break down any barriers that either they or we may face. And Truth and Reconciliation Walk also took place, and thank you to everyone who participated in that as well. So if anybody else has anything, Councillor Allen?
I'd just like to extend a thank you to Hydro for saving all of us. We were just talking about maybe didn't save Turkey, but did save all of us. So great to see that effort, and thank you to all the citizens who are very proactively cleaning up all the fallen branches and everything else. I've seen a lot of people all into the dump today, so it's good to see.
100% Manitoba Highways, Town of Paw employees, for giving up their Thanksgiving time that they wanted to spend at home with their families. It's very much appreciated working all those hours of overtime. Anyone else?
No, I would like to echo that too, Deputy Mayor. It was great. Sam and his crews were doing whatever is necessary to support. I know there's Manitoba Hydro is the easy one, but there was the fire department was out quite a bit and just supporting each other. So that was great.
I'll echo the mayor's echo. And the only I'll add to that is on the weekend, the senior varsity girls beat Flin Flon in the finals. Won the weekend tournament in Swan River. And they actually lost the first games to Flin Flon. We met it back in the finals and sent them, they came back winners and something went a bit further north of the losers.
Have anything from the school, or you'll do that later on in our reports? Should I do? You know what, maybe we'll do it in the reports where we're supposed to do it. I kind of oops that up a little bit. Okay. Yeah, we'll wait. So now we will move on to citizens period. And we have the new owners of the New Avenue Hotel. Welcome. And if you could come forward and state your name and your address, then we'll hear what you have to say.
My name is Rohini Gaur.
You can sit, like, yeah, you can sit at sometimes, but okay.
His name is Anubhav Berry. Technically, he's the owner. And the address is 404 Fisher Avenue. I don't know the last code.
That's okay.
And you did receive your letter.
Okay.
We all read that. Is there anything you wanted to add to the letter?
Yes, so after the last incident that, after receiving I think the bill was almost like 9,000. We made sure that we have like either me living in the hotel, myself, or one of my employees there to take care of that. So after that, there has been no more like incident. So I'd say.
So we took care of the residents that were living on the second floor. I think those were the troublemakers. They were going through fire exits a lot of times. So we made sure that they were gone, and now we're just making it to hotel. So all 5 rooms upstairs, we are just gonna do like a short-term rental instead of long-term. So that's like we did everything in our power to make sure this doesn't happen again. It's just like we didn't know like this like we just moved in, like even the previous owner never had to deal with this kind of situation. So he was not even able to call us. When the fire department came the first or 2 times, like we just weren't able to figure out why this was happening. But like we had a word with chief, I think last week, and he gave us in detail what was happening, what we did, how we can prevent it, and we have been taking care of this ever since.
Mayor Murphy, do you have any questions?
No, I have nothing to questions. Everything's pretty clear.
Okay. So then, we thank you for your time. We never make a decision immediately in citizens period, but we welcome you to the community and congratulations on your new business, and we will get back to you.
So
Yes.
You're welcome to join us for the next hour and a half.
thank you so much, guys. Have a good day.
Thanks. Have a good evening. Okay, so now moving on to bylaws, 8.1 loitering bylaw.
This is a draft bylaw regarding the lottery, and with the mayor for working on this. And it's not first reading, it's not second, reading, it's not anyway. It's just for council to look through it and see, say draft and see what is missing, what needs to be included, or what you think we should have.
So then, should this have appeared in the committee of the whole rather than now?
6 1, half an hour, something.
Fair enough. So does anyone have any questions, comments surrounding the new proposed bylaw? Go ahead.
When I was on council the last time, I tried to get this bylaw in. And unfortunately, it didn't go in, so I'm very, I'm gonna have to say excited to see that you're gonna try to put it in, and I hope it gets in there. Because I believe everybody in our town should be safe, everybody. And at the moment, there's, this is one arm or finger or whatever that maybe we can straighten things out a little bit and make people not so scared to come downtown.
I've got a couple of comments, I guess. One, I know we do have a bylaw that does cover loitering and some of the things covered in here, so I'm hoping we're able to find that so we can repeal it and replace it with one that's gonna suit our needs, as Councillor Commodore has said. Question I do have is, why do we wanna go with the Provincial Offences Act rather than a municipal bylaw act? Reason I ask that is because obviously, if we're gonna tie things up in the courts, we're hearing from the RCMP regularly that things are kind of getting lost in the shuffle, that there's no action, that they're kind of a revolving door. So would it not be, if this was gonna be an effort on our part, would it not be a good effort to say, let's streamline the process and keep it at our administration level? And so we're not involved in the courts, just because we're being told that the courts are kind of failing our processes, right? It's a revolving door of offenses and no action. And also by going through provincial, as it's listed in here, they keep 45% of the fine money as a court cost. So if they're gonna keep almost half of the money that is paid, we're losing that right off the bat.
Just a comment on, I could provide a comment. So, Councillor Manich, I took it from the other bylaws that I found information from, so I have no really love or reason why it was that. It's just that other municipalities that I looked at, including in Calgary and such, appear to come from that spot. So yeah, maybe it's better going, or maybe there's a combination of both. And I've searched everywhere for the Town of the Paws supposedly loitering bylaw, and I've never been able to find it. So it would be interesting because we could have incorporated some of that into this, but this is the reason why it is written the way it is. I guess my final comment is let's just put something down on paper and get it going, and so that we can start moving on something, and we're not talking about it for another 6 or 8 months, because as Councillor Commodore said, this has been talked about since 2016.
Thank you. Councillor Hopper also has a comment.
I'll match whatever money you collect in fines. You're not gonna collect any money in fines. It's a tool that the CSOs can use. I think if you find somebody that's infringing on the loitering bylaw, when you get them off the street, instead of paying a fine, well, you'll be locked up for a couple of days. We'll pay the room and board and Queen's plate for that, and sooner or later they'll learn that they can't do all the things that they're doing on the street. Just tie up the court or give them a fine. We can't collect our parking ticket fines. How are we going to collect fines from people that don't have money? People that have parking tickets have money, they have cars, and we don't collect from them. So it's a good start on it. Figure out what applicable penalties will actually work and what they can afford, because I would say 90% of the people that we're directing this bylaw to do not have any money, but they're going to be paying the fine. And why tie up the court? Why tie up our front end, sending the notices to where they happen to live? Maybe they have a home or their homes. the repercussions when they do the act, then you get the penalty right there.
And I think you're basically echoing what I'm saying. We should be using the municipal bylaw act rather than the provincial act, because again, we're not gonna collect this money. You can't get blood from a stone. We just need to have recourse for what kind of action can we legally take. We know we can argue both ways, right? There's gonna be individual in the street that will deliberately break the bylaw, so they can be locked up to go get a meal, to go get a place to stay. That's gonna happen as well, and we can't prevent that. We have to look at the big picture of what actions can we take and how can we help our community be a safer and more enjoyable experience, especially in the downtown area. So I was only asking, maybe it's a better way of going through the municipal enforcement bylaw act rather than the provincial, just because we have to come up with a process for either one. And we as a council would have to decide which way are we more comfortable going. So it's more of a question of which way are we going, municipal
So-
bylaw act or the provincial act.
Can I make a suggestion, Bola, and to council, that we just take this act or this bylaw, send it to legal, taking into account what Councillor Manich and Councillor Hopper has mentioned. We're really trying to give authority to our community safety officers to be able to do the things they need to do. And then just get legal to review it, revise it, bring it back to council for first reading.
Okay.
Sure, that sounds good. So the draft bylaw will be going to legal for further discussion.
And incorporate, like as Councillor Manich and Councillor Hopper said, is that we're not, we're trying to have the authority to do something downtown.
Perfect. So Bola, you'll follow up with that. Okay. Okay, so now.
And just as a note, Councillor Hopper, I do pay my parking tickets.
You actually got any?
I got a parking ticket and I did pay it.
Perfect. I wasn't referring to you.
Thank
Oh,
you
okay.
very much. Thank you very much, Mayor.
But you were supposed to pay late, so we get double the amount. We gotta get bang for buck here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll probably get another one because the way I read the sign.
So anybody that is on town parking tickets, please, we encourage you to pay. Thank you.
Okay, we're moving on to department resolutions. Public Works and Maintenance, so mechanic truck 2025 capital resolution.
Resolution number 2025-186, moved by Councillor Allen and seconded by Councillor Hopper. Resolved that council approve the purchase of a 2025 Ram 3500 Tradesman 4x4 with winter tire package from Twin Motors in the amount of $94,170.72 with tax included. Funding for this purchase will be from the capital budget and the equipment reserve.
Call the question?
I got one question, Deputy Mayor, just for Sam. Did we always have that heavy duty of a truck, like a 3500? I'm just curious if we're replacing or are we upgrading to a diesel?
It's comparable to what we had previously, yes.
It's comparable? Okay, perfect.
Is this truck gonna be equipped with tools and stuff?
Yeah, so we have some leftover stuff from we didn't want to totally outfit it because then the price goes kind of through your customizing, so we have some equipment off the old deck that we've salvaged. So we'll sort of piece together best we can from that to kind of get it started to get function.
Any other questions? Hearing none? In favor?
All right.
Carried. Okay. Payroll and accounts resolution.
Resolution number 2025-187, moved by Councillor Manich, second by Councillor Commodore. Resolved that council authorize the following accounts. Pay period number 20 in the amount of $124,610.17. General check numbers 32870 to 32907 in the amount of $1,000,000 $807,288.53. EFTs in the amount of $342,981.56.
Call the question? Pardon me?
Yes, the question I answered.
No other questions? In favor? Against? None, carried. July financials resolution, 9.3.2.
No. Resolution number 2025-188, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Manage. Resolved that council accept the financial statements for the period ending July 2025 as prepared and submitted by L. Armstrong.
Thank you. Call the question?
I have a question, Deputy Mayor.
Sure.
Or maybe a general comment with regards to this. So I know these are from July and appreciate all the work that Laura does to put into these. I look at, as I look through them, I see, like, sometimes I don't always see it lining up, like, and I know Sam's in the room, like Public Works, there was a comment that we overspent on sand and salt, but it doesn't look like we've spent the entire budget yet this year, so I'm assuming that, or not sand and salt, the dust control. So I'm assuming that we're not doing any more dust control, or the bills are coming later that will sort of take care of that. And then the other comment, just as a note, was around in the fire department when we were talking about training and the cost of training is over budget. So my challenge to BOLA and administration is, are we now, if we are really hitting areas that are becoming close to being over budget or over budget, are we looking at discretionary spending and making sure we're not continuing to spend when we know we don't have the funds to spend? That's just a comment.
Was the dust control due to the lake lots though? I think that we had asked for additional dust control.
It does say that, but then if you look at the actual amount, it's not over budget.
I think in general, I'm referring to is just budgets are getting near the point where some are overspent. We're
Yeah.
watching that closely.
Yeah, so I can speak to it a little bit from our department since we were probably the most problems. So the tracking mechanism is really important for us as we see them kind of roll in July, August. And the way Laura has it set up, or the way our controller has it set up is pretty nice. We can kind of forecast forward pretty well. And we've been asked, and she double checks the work to ensure that we're highlighting any areas that are of concern and that the overall budget is in good shape. So we are monitoring it pretty closely, and if, you know, especially like this month, next month, if we do see things getting a little bit too tight, then of course discretionary spending will be kind of cut to zero. Or
Yeah.
whatever we can. Yeah.
And I guess I'm always cautious about this, Sam, and you probably heard me say it before, where we don't want to treat our budget like a giant pot of cash, that if we have specific line items that we haven't spent for good reasons, we shouldn't just automatically move it over without really having some good thoughts behind it. So
I would like to comment for the fire department. And not only fire department, I always ensure that I carry all the managers along, not to go beyond the budgeted amount. And for the training, I do say that we are going over. And we are actually including that, addressing that in our current budget that will be presented to council. I acknowledge the training part, that's why we're going over the budget. And we are doing something around it.
well, and again, I just want to highlight, Bola, I'm talking about discretionary versus non-discretionary. So when you have to do stuff, of course, we're going to keep spending money. But if there's an opportunity not to spend money to get back on budget or get back on track, we should really challenge ourselves. That's it.
Thank you.
Okay. Call the question? In favor?
Aye.
And no one's against. Proclamation, Medical Radiation Technologists Week resolution.
Resolution number 2025-189, moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Commodore. Be it resolved that council authorize the mayor to sign the attached proclamation declaring November 2nd to the 8th, 2025 Medical Radiation Technologists Week in the town of La Pod to raise awareness about medical radiation technologists.
Okay. Call the question? Hearing none, in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Just a related question on financials, in November, hopefully, maybe we can have, like, we get, our November report, if it's 2.5 months old, it's too late, we can't do anything about it. So hopefully, we can get something a little more timely. I know she's busy, she was away for a month, but, we can't go back and change things, it's 2 months old. At this point, it's 2.5 months old. We get in December, we get a report for the end of, October, will be nice at least.
Your comment. Thank you. Okay. So now we have reports of committees and boards. Mayor and council updates. So museum board.
Well, unfortunately, their meeting is tonight and I'm sitting here. There was one point I'd like to put out. A couple of weeks ago, they had a little history of the paw. And there was about 40 people that attended. It was a very, very nice surprise. So they'll be doing something again in the future. Other than that, yeah, it was very, very good. We usually, you kind of expect maybe 10 people, and there was 40. And I talked to a few people that had gone there and they thoroughly enjoyed it. They had 2 great presentators.
Thank you. Chamber of Commerce.
Just a few points, most of it was business as usual, but we did have a couple of distinguished guests. Maybe I'll let Mayor Murphy describe what he came to talk about, but he talked about some safety initiatives that maybe the business sector could be part of. I'll let him expand on that. That way it'll be part of his explanation. He'll be able to explain it better than me. Also, our AGM is November 5th, which tentatively is West Canada. They were having some issues with evacuees and things still possibly being present, but as of right now, it will be at 6 p.m. at the West Canada in the Rendezvous Room, which is also the announcement of the Citizen of the Year and your Business of the Year awards. So it's not just your business sector, this is also a community event to help commend our local citizens and businesses. And yeah, the rest is kind of business as usual. If Mayor Murphy would like to say anything, otherwise you can just say part of the report.
No, thanks for that, Councillor. Yeah, so appreciate the invite a couple of weeks ago now, or a week ago, I'm not sure. Attended the, with Mike, our CSO manager, the chamber meeting. Really just trying to engage. I know that some of the businesses weren't at our safety summit and wanted to be able to provide an opportunity to give an update to the chamber themselves. But really, I think Councillor Manich was a big help around talking about crime prevention through environmental design, about what businesses can do with regards to helping the situation. So moving, like removing the trees, removing the loitering spots, don't make things comfortable for people to just hang out. Mike shared a little bit of the work that they've already done, also shared a little bit of the things that they are doing with regards to, how they respond today. And I guess at the end of the day, we were looking at, we want to be partners with the chamber. We want to help the businesses as best as possible as a community. And so we're looking for feedback. If they need something for us through our rep, Councillor Manage, or coming directly to council chambers, we want to hear from them. I think that was pretty well today, Councillor.
Yeah, no, and again, thank you for coming on behalf of council and meet the chamber.
Thank you. Councillor Hopper, CDC.
I wasn't at the last meeting when it was rescheduled. Mayor Murphy, was there a meeting?
Well, no, there was no meeting due to quorum issue. So that was canceled. And it's business as usual with some of that stuff. I know maybe Councillor Manage can give an update. Him and Jonathan did attend the procurement event in Thompson. Maybe you can share some information on that.
Sure, we can do that now. So yes, Jonathan and I traveled up to Thompson a couple weeks ago. It was a well-received event. The room was full, which was nice to see. The purpose would be more in Jonathan's portfolio than I think a councillor's, but it was good to hear what exactly the procurement opportunities look like. How can northern companies or Indigenous companies in our area get involved in the bidding process? Not everybody uses things like Merck's or whatever. Sometimes the grassroots businesses are left out because they don't understand the process. So this was an opportunity for them to kind of get on the map or figure out their process of how to become recognized and get on the map and what's expected, so they can maybe take part on any developments that happen with the Arctic Gateway.
Jonathan, do you have anything to add?
There was also, some information about the hiring and job opportunities that will be coming up. I know there's a number of positions here in the PA that are open, and there'll be more, so everyone just keep looking out for that as well. There'll be some more announcements coming up on some of the other activities, construction wise, to do with improvements of the rail line and other activities.
Thank you. Cedar Lake, that's me. We did not have a meeting, but we have set our meeting dates for December. Recycling Board, Mayor Murphy.
We haven't, we're waiting. We did send the updated constitution and in terms of reference to the board with no feedback yet. And we will make that at our next meeting, which is, I'm not sure, but I'm likely not going to be there if we're having one this month.
Thank you. Councillor Allen, Library Board.
There's supposed to be a meeting on Thursday, but it got canceled the morning of, and I've not been told to make updates yet.
Okay, thank you. Kelsey School Division. We haven't heard back. And youth counselor. Your turn.
Earlier this month, the school recognized Orange Shirt Day by placing handprints on a mural and hanging it up in the lobby. And we also sold orange donuts on September 30th. The cross-country zones team took home 3 banners and had a strong finish at provincials, and we had 1 student place 3rd in the AA category at provincials. The girls' soccer team finished off a successful season at the zone championships, unfortunately losing in the consolation finals. Our 4 volleyball teams continue to have a successful season, with zones coming up shortly for the JVs. Our interim progress reports went out on October 6th. Recently, we had a few community collabs, and we're also having the fire department come to MBCI for fire prevention presentations on the 15th. And MBCI is continuing to work with the Minisouan Family Resource Center to include Indigenous programming in our school. we had a grade 12 student who was awarded the Horatio Alger Association Scholarship of $10,000, along with a free trip to Toronto for a week-long seminar. We're having our bus evacuation on October 21st, and our jazz band had a successful performance at Culturama, performing in front of roughly 500 people.
Busy, busy. What's going on?
And you were fabulous in that performance, by the way. Mayor Murphy and I both saw you. I'm not sure if I'm not sure if other councillors attended or not, but it was fabulous, and thank you for that. Do you get to go to Toronto? Was that you?
No, it was
No.
one of my friends.
One of your friends? Congratulate them on behalf of us.
Again.
Okay, so then monthly management report. Is there any questions in there or?
Was there,
do you have any?
Oh, Councillor or Deputy Mayor, was there an update from Mayor and Council? Any other updates? Did we miss something?
Is there something else that you would like to present that we didn't do? in
Well, I
recognition?
thought there was a spot for Mayor and Council updates. I did want to give a quick update from
Okay.
PMM. I did attend
Sure.
the lobby days as the Northern Rep, and just sort of wanted 2 seconds here to just say that there's 4 real priorities being driven through the Association of Manitoba Municipalities. That's around municipal funding. So that's the first sort of pillar about working with municipalities to have a clear funding escalator when it comes to what they receive every year, and make it simple. As well as the taxation tools that we've been talking about. That's hot on the list right now. So, those are the different tax tools, as well as the getting the rebate for some taxes, PST and GST. There's the other pillars around physical infrastructure. So, there's a heavy work being advocated around the permanent federal and provincial wastewater infrastructure fund. So they want to commit to that. There's also some work around making sure that we have broadband and comprehensive coverage for cells in the rural areas. So we think about rural as, there's none in northern Manitoba when we go to Thompson or something, but even in southern Manitoba in the rural farming areas, there's a lot of non-coverage areas. The third pillar is around social infrastructure. So making sure that we can get the appropriate doctors within our areas, immigration advisory committee rules or recommendations, and then and those type of things. And then the last thing that, heavy on everybody's list in every municipality in every region is around public safety. So stricter bail, conditional release policies for repeat offenders, refused downloading the policing reform costs. And this sort of goes back to what we've been talking about is the funding model for provincial policing contracts. So, that's how close it's a top priority for our provincial leaders. And then the other thing is like talking about increased funding to combat crime that we need, and expand the municipal community safety well-being plans. And that's what we've sort of talked a little bit about, where we need to, we've got our plan done, but we're still going to need some help down the road to keep moving it forward. So that's sort of the highlight there. So sorry for jumping back on that.
No, I completely skipped it. So it's good that you brought it up. Does anyone have any questions around any of that? No? Okay, so monthly management report. Fuller, do you have any highlights, lowlights, anything that?
Yeah, that's a summary for the management reports. I will not be able to provide mine. My computer had issues, but I was able to do something in Thompson. I attended the Northern AMM Northern District meeting, and my first time in Thompson though. It was a productive meeting. It was just for one day, So the minister came, they explained what we can do, they acknowledged every part of the notes, but the contribution they made during the wildfire. That was a big discussion during the meeting. Few number of resolutions were passed. And the biggest one for me there is next year, they'll be coming to the for our district meeting in June.
We will host.
Okay.
So did anyone have any questions around the monthly management report? That was for the
Yes.
CAO report.
I just wanted to shine a light on the calls for service for the fire department. So,
Yeah.
So when I look at that, I like that chart because I'm a visual scorecard kind of guy. So when you look at that, it's interesting to see the reds around. You look at grass fires, and obviously with the wildfires this year, I would expect that that's sort of linked to that. So there's 47 there. You can see our false alarms are way up. And then structural fires, I'm not 100% sure what that means. Like if that's like what the real definition is that. But really what I was really pointing out is that if you look at the bottom though, the totals, if you sort of remove that and normalize some of that stuff, I think that we're not any worse and maybe even a little bit better than last year. So I want to take my hat off to Sam and his crews for, even though we had 2 landfill fires in this year. But I would say that we've reduced that. And then the only other one I didn't see in here is when we have mutual aid calls, should we put that as a line item in here so that we can see that change and track it separately? I don't know, just a thought. That's
a good idea.
But no, it's good. Good job by the fire crews and everybody supporting that.
Any other questions from anyone on the monthly management reports? Okay, unfinished business. Is there anything in there that anyone has any questions around?
Maybe Sam, can you give us an update? There was one request, and I'm not sure if it's actually on this list. There was one request around, and I know you told me you guys were already working on it. You told me that a while ago. The arena handrail.
Yeah, I spoke to the rec director today about that because some questions from the public had come up about it again. He was been in contact with a fabricator to kind of price and scope it out. There was a preliminary cost given, but I think it needed to be fleshed out a little bit better. So that's sort of an ongoing thing that the rec director's been working on. So hopefully by next meeting, we should have something to council for like an estimate and a quote. And I think the direction was just to, because it's a safety sort of thing, to just move ahead. So provide sort of information at the next meeting, hopefully with some information of some timeframes. We definitely want to get it done sooner rather than later because it's taking a little bit longer than we'd hoped.
Hey, Sam, is there some easy stuff that can be done right now with regards to that? Like just maybe fluorescent yellow or orange or whatever the trip points that are just when you exit the spot, so we could just paint that, and that might sort of shine a light on that a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad idea, just to kind of get people's attention to it, because yeah, it's pretty exciting in there sometimes, so I can see how people kind of lose track of what's going on.
You know, stairs, you saw about the edge of the stairs and that it's straight grade and down, difficult to see.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea. Maybe even some grip tape or something we could look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's some good ideas we could probably implement sooner.
Yeah, there was a curve orange paint still kicking around on there.
Somewhere, I'm sure we could find something.
Then we have the library summary report that's in there.
Just
We have something.
just on unfinished business, I was
Okay.
looking for, guess what I'm gonna ask for, Jonathan? How are things coming on the footprint of what area of Devon Park that we're gonna be rezoning so you can sell some land to a developer?
We make some room for you.
There's been a few other land stops that came up in the last couple of weeks with meeting with, potential buyers of other lands, so I was kind of tied up, but I'll have some for next meeting.
It's, could be a long process.
Yeah,
We're gonna take the same track as some other things we've done, so sooner rather than later than
Yeah,
one obstacle while you're waiting in the spring. So next meeting, perfect.
yeah, next meeting we'll have them.
And I had one, like a little bit of information on potential partnership with UCN Natural Resource Department. I'm curious to know what that looks like. I happen to know who the contact person would be for that, and that person has never been contacted. So I'm curious to know what exactly that partnership
Yes,
is looking like.
actually, when we're talking
Because we've seen it multiple times on here, that's why I'm wondering what.
yeah, so I actually follow up with you when we had discussion about the risk assessment. So it was thinking of a possibility of having a partnership with UCN.
I had brought that
Yes.
up in the meeting.
When he
Yeah.
has presented something on risk assessment, but he was looking at expansion and possibility of working with them, but he has not done it.
Yeah, the reason I ask especially is because our deputy chief is exactly trained in that area. I mean, he used to work for Wildland and he worked in that area, so that would be a great project for him. So I'm just curious why or what a natural resource partnership looks like when that partnership would have to go through someone who I happen to know very well. And that's never been a discussion, has never been brought forward. So I'm just curious, what does it look like? Is it at the grassroots level? Is it just an idea? What exactly does that?
The reason I brought it up was because Cedar Lake had partnered with UCN around the surveys that they had compiled last year. And then UCN made a huge presentation to the community on it. And so I thought that if there was a way that the fire department could possibly partner with UCN and go through Cedar Lake to look at any way to receive a grant, that was an opportunity that could be knocked on. Now, whether or not it's going to be knocked on, I don't know.
Maybe we can get an update at the next meeting.
I've already.
Yeah.
And, excuse, one point I'd like to reiterate is there is no real target dates on a lot of this. There is some, one that Councillor Manish just brought up actually had a target date for July 28th. The very next one, where fire breaks, target of August 11th. Those are one of the few that even have target dates on here. And I'm not saying that they're not met, but if they're being met, then we're not getting an update that reflects that. The very bottom page, where I'm assuming dates are supposed to be, there's two columns for dates. I'm assuming the one column is when it sort of got assigned, I'm guessing, and then the second one, I'm guessing, is when the target to complete is. The second one only has two dates and there's about 25 items in there. There's nothing really kind of holding anybody's feet to the fire to get something done. The one that I don't say much about, but it always catches my eye on this is the council office space, and we're waiting on the maintenance department, and I think we've been waiting on the maintenance department for 2 years now. So if we're not gonna do it, that's another discussion. It should come off then, because it just looks kind of silly to have it on there every 2 weeks for years.
Okay.
Sorry, I just want to add to what Councillor Allen has said. It might be a great opportunity as well to put some of our more visual capital projects on the unfinished business, like when we assign them at budget season and they're going to be done, maybe that would be a good opportunity so we can see those wins or where we need to give more support for them to get completed, right? Say, for example, the front of the building, we were hoping to do that this year, nothing has happened with it. That to me would be unfinished business because we've got snow on the ground on, we know it's not happening. So we know it's on our radar in advance, something that isn't a surprise of, well, why didn't this happen? It might be just a good way of keeping a checks and balances and a good way of announcing those wins in a sense, right?
Councillor Manich, I would just want to jump in there. I completely agree with you around that. But I also would just add that we should be seeing a capital plan separately from an unfinished business list that shows exactly what you're asking for. And I think that's how we should be planning our capital going into, if we want to do best practice going into 2026, is that we have a target date when they're going to be in service, and we should be getting regular updates on when that's happening. So completely
For sure,
agree.
it could be a separate document, yeah.
We've generally had one of those in the past. We just haven't seen one
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to see it within the next month or so with regards to all the budgeting that's coming up.
I will send an email to council. It's part of my own personal updates with council. But I've not sent that email.
Perfect. Thanks, Bola.
Library summary report. Is there anything in there that anyone has any questions on?
Any remediation has to be done after this, clean air report?
I don't know who can speak to that.
Nothing hazardous there,
From what we read and what we talked to the rec director, maintenance, there's no issues that they've seen from it, so. This sort of is in line with the previous air testing, basement that flooded. They would check if there's any spores or anything, so this is in line with that report that they see.
that's shared with the employees over there as well?
I don't know the answer to that.
Hey, Sam, I had the same question with regards to this. Shouldn't we have an actual limit to compare? Like we get a bunch of numbers, but if we don't have any benchmark or any limits, we're trying to see if they're under or above, then it really doesn't tell us anything. Or is there something?
Sorry, I thought it was relative to the outside. Which was
Yeah,
actually kind of eye-opening for me, because I think that's interesting that, so depending on where you live, depending on the level of pollution, that sort of will be your baseline for what it might be. So that was kind of surprising. I did see.
Yeah. That's what I was looking at, but I wasn't sure what outdoor meant, if it was outdoor air coming in or what that meant. So I wasn't sure.
Yeah, during the testing, when the front washrooms were flooded, we spoke to the gentleman that came for that, and that's how he told us they create their baseline. So I'm assuming this, yeah, so it's based on outdoor air quality compared to indoor air quality. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. General business, there's nothing in there. Citizens period. We don't have anyone, so now committee of the whole.
Resolve that we do now move ourselves into committee of the whole with Deputy Mayor Atkinson and the chair to discuss matters requiring our attention.
Public Works and Maintenance, 14.1.1 snow removal agreement.
So, sorry. If I speak
go
again.
ahead.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Every year we go into an agreement with Manitoba Highways regarding doing snow clearing, lifting the snow from the embankments downtown and other sort of allocated highways. I gave you guys a bit of a breakdown of how the math sort of, not how the math, but what we bill them back for, and sort of the bit of profit that we've created. The agreement is the same exactly verbatim, and the amount as last year. And I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago, they changed the process of how they do this. It used to be this very strange system that we'd have to go on this specific website, figure out how much snowfall we had for the year, submit it to get them to approve it. So now they just do it on a running 5-year average snowfall that they calculate, they send back to us. So it looks like we're about the same ballpark exactly as last year, which sort of coincides with 2 years back to back at the same. I feel the number is fair based on how much money how last year played out. So we should see another bit of profit from this, or revenue from this, right?
You actually cost out what you spend when you're doing your snow removal for this?
We have a budget line specifically for it. So when the guys do highways, anything highways, that was other timesheets highway removal, that gets coded to that specific line.
It gets coded so you know exactly what you spent. with
Yeah,
it.
and there will be some errors, like, give or take, maybe something gets coded incorrectly, but pretty confident that it's pretty close yet.
Nice to be the government to tell people what they're gonna pay.
They do have a kind of a stranglehold on this, and previous requests to speak to them about maybe enhancing the amount or that other communities get slightly more. They assure us that they have a perfectly tuned system with linear meters of highway versus all this, so that we have nothing to worry about, so.
So then I wanna burst your bubble. If they give us $48,000, but we only do $17,000 worth of work, the town of the Paw should not really be a profit generating business. It should be providing service. Could we not then be providing more service and ensure that the downtown is cleared more often, or those areas that are responsible cleared more often? Because you hear the regular complaints. I bet I have a couple sitting next to me right now that could say, we'd like to have the snowbanks removed more often.
I think that, this roughly, that 17,000, if I had to roughly estimate how many, like the number of times, I believe that's like a 2 to 3 times removing the banks from the downtown. We like to do one right before Christmas, like that's your big shopping time, once before festival as well, and then you sort of see how it works, like how much snow you get from there. So some years it doesn't. Some years we wish we could do more, but certain things sort of get in the way. I think the additional cost of doing, let's say, the downtown sidewalks with, that we didn't do before. Maybe some of that's not captured in here, but maybe some of that's being offset by this, so.
I don't wanna see anything extra or new, just enhance. Like I said, I know 3rd Street didn't get done a lot this year, right? Where 3rd Street got pretty narrow. That'd be a route that you'd be compensated for, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just curious that, we're kind of making a 55% profit margin off of a proposed payment. To me, we should be trying to target that amount. If they're saying they're gonna give us 40,000, we should at least try to reach that target.
I think our staff for the overtime would for sure agree with you, so I think you.
Yeah. It would just be nice to see if we have the money available that we're being paid for, we should be able to use it up and not just.
Yeah, and I sort of don't look at that as the only, there's the whole budget as a whole. So last year was a little bit, we spent a lot of money on snow last year, so this looks like a revenue, but it's probably just offsetting deficits.
Wear and tear of the machine as well. Do you consider that?
I believe some of that probably doesn't get baked into there.
Yes. So many hidden costs that's.
So looking to bring for a resolution next meeting?
Yes.
I'd also like to echo Councillor Manage. One of the very first things that we ever discussed as a council was clearing the snow in the downtown. We made a very big emphasis on that back in the fall and winter of 2022. And I'm not saying it's fallen off or anything, but I do agree. I would like to see it done more often. We want to support getting business into this community. That's the hub of where the business is going to go. We should be supporting it.
Sounds good.
One comment. I'd like to thank Randy, Councillor Manage and Councillor Allen about thinking about the downtown with the snow removal, and it's much appreciated. But I think they just got us on an exercise program because I built up my muscles with that shovel. But thank you.
Council members are in other communities. Nobody removes snow as best as much as Tahlequah does. Go to Dauphin, anywhere south. You gotta do a great job. And there's always room for improvement.
Yeah, we always want to get more efficient, but we'll appreciate it.
Great job for sidewalks last year compared to the year before, sidewalks are well.
As a business owner, I was told when I first opened my business that I was responsible for my sidewalk. And I think everybody knows I am responsible, and it's nice, some years we just get a little bit more snow and I build a fort, so it's okay.
Okay, 14.1.2, the Paw landfill fencing and gate request.
So the encampment that we had sort of to the west of the landfill, we removed, sort of demolished it. So that was wonderful. We feel that there's still a little bit too easy of an access to the landfill itself. Can you move to the north a little bit, sir? So we're bringing a proposal forward to build a new gate at the highway access. I don't know if you guys can notice that faint blue line on thing is just to give you kind of a rough idea, maybe zoom in. So new gate access to the highway, fencing along both sides of the access road, all the way to the south. And then we're either gonna go around that access point or along, we haven't quite decided. The fence on the east side, so that'd be the right side of this, line. There's a fence post roughly at the property line where, it can attach to, and then predominant access we're seeing is from the west. That seems to be the greatest sort of corridor of foot traffic. So we'd like to bring the fence line down at least to the contaminated source, so it's time to scroll down and see it. To at least that pad, if not maybe to the end of the pad, we're still sort of working out those details. I know this previously was, when we discussed it, it was a little bit, you know, maybe a little bit expensive, and we were sort of unsure about whether we should spend the money or if the spend was valuable, because, you know, that they'll find a way to damage the fence or get in. We're at a point now with the GRO funding that we received from the province last year, that we were eligible for 50% dollars for something of this that could be applied through our GRO grant that we have. So we're making a request again to see if we can build this fence to mitigate and slow down. We've watched some videos from the Snail Shack in the evening, sort of what transpires there, and furniture being dragged out. Like it's unbelievable, kind of the determination. And I'm not saying that this will stop that determination when someone is that determined, but we do believe that it could significantly reduce that. And the comment earlier, I think, fire department report that we're seeing a little less landfill fires this year. I don't want to take sole credit for that. Our operator on site, Poppin, deserves a lot of credit for the extensive work he's done at the landfill to try to help mitigate the situation. So I just want to say thank you to Bruce as well.
So Sam, what would the height of the fence be?
8 feet would be our goal. We're in discussions because we do have animals that potentially we could do barbed wire on top and electrify it potentially. We're not quite, we haven't quite nailed that down yet. I just wanted to see if there was an appetite for mayor and council for us to explore this further, or kind of where we're at, I guess.
Because
Grow on your, that you're talking next year, or is that the one we talked about previously?
That's the one we already have, yeah. That's the one we got last year.
Yeah, we're confident in it.
Yeah, so we're moving ahead with the expansion ideas and design before we bring it back to council for approval. So that fund does allow us to.
And you know when they will be cutting through the fence.
Yeah.
So
Correct, yeah.
I'll be repairs.
Yeah, we salvaged a lot of it from the tennis courts, so we took that fence down in preparation for patching and that type of thing as well.
Electrifying.
Right.
So electrifying sounds good.
Yes, because we have lots of bears, so we need animal protection, yes.
I totally support a new gate and fence at the traffic end of it. But as Councillor Hopper pointed out, sorry, I'm going to be brutally honest. We have parks that are in disrepair with fences. I can just imagine what the fence would look like around the garbage dump. It would be an ongoing maintenance issue that would eventually say, we give up and we throw away $750,000 on a Swiss cheese looking kind of fence. So I do agree, we do need a proper one at the road. I mean, I watch people walk through there. I drive by and there's people with keys, there's people that walk through it. I mean, like when you can drive your bicycle through it, it's not really an effective gate. So I do agree that needs to be curbed, but you're not gonna stop the people that wanna go in there with, even if it was a $5 million fence, you're not gonna stop them. As you know, the tools that they found at that encampment, they had everything they need to cut as many holes as they want through that fence.
Yeah, I don't even own one chainsaw, they had two, so
Exactly, so.
I think of the one on Big Level, the tracks.
Yeah, I mean, everywhere you went, you'd fix one hole, they would make it 2 feet down from that one. So
yeah, no, there's definitely.
it's one of those impossible situations that, as you mentioned and gave the kudos to Bruce, I know he definitely deserves it with Mr. Poppin. If he can keep up with his capping and constantly looking after it, eventually they're gonna get more tired of digging through nothing being left. And they will be deterred by a fence.
Fair point, yeah.
Is there, I agree with what both counselors have said. You know, I would be okay with the front fence, but one addition on the front fence, we're talking about electrifying a fence. But instead of electricity, can we get a camera put at the front gate of the fence so we see who's coming and going and tie that to the scale shack? Satellite it back to our central area so that if you wanted to look at it, you can look anytime you want.
The answer is likely yes, that we could do something like that. Most of the action we're seeing, they've completely memorized the landfill hours. So literally if the operator stays an hour overtime or whatever, finish capping something, they are sort of, oh, sorry, we thought you guys were gone already. So they kind of understand the schedule very like to the T. And then so.
But we could put motion sensors and sirens and all that other stuff. I think would be more, not that I say let's do that right off the bat, but I think that would be more valuable than a fence along that one.
Or even if we had some trail cameras. I don't know.
So I guess what you're hearing, Sam, is we're supporting a fence at the front, but not else.
It's a start, yeah, I'll take whatever I can get.
And like you said,
And you make rules along the way, just helps our staff and makes life better for everyone. We may have to do a little bit of perimeter fencing. Where the trees were cut down by when Hydro did that corridor, just because we have to have a physical barrier there, so we may just elongate a little bit, so I'm not following direction. I'm not gonna take it over this.
Well, and you don't want people driving around it, right? 'Cause no matter what, they're gonna go around at some point, so it makes sense to.
Just a little shirt, yeah, okay, thank you. That's great, that's I'll chalk that up as a win tonight.
Definition a little bit.
And get Bruce more clay, just recap it.
Yeah, every meeting I'll ask for another 50 feet and.
Well, you had 55 fire calls there last year, right? By the annual report, there was almost 55 fire calls.
Yeah.
You're now at half of that. That means what you are doing is working. So we don't need to go and change everything. Just
Yeah.
keep building off of what you are doing. And I said, Bruce that is a big win for sure. I don't say only Bruce, there's probably other operators as well.
Yeah,
but
other staff are going.
Either way,
That's, yeah.
every time I do go there, it's nice seeing a guy in the shack now and the guy on the loader is good.
And sorry, another thing that I forgot to add to this, just, we may put a fence around the eco center, the oil depot. One, we're getting some illegal dumping occurring that sort of is making our life difficult, but also we're learning that potentially they're using that as accelerants to start the fires, is something we just recently learned. And I think there might be a grant for that, through the eco center itself. So if you see a fence go up there, again, we're not following direction, but we're sort of, just protecting our asset.
Where they go for batteries from too.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So one question I have is, can we not look at fencing off what they're there for? Because if you're gonna, like, I'm talking here about fencing off the entire western span of the site, which would be a very lengthy area.
Mhm.
They're not there for that, they're there for whatever you're picking up here, right, the track.
Yeah.
Can we not fence off the areas they're going to?
We thought about putting the specific active cell area. With equipment getting in there, with the fires, the fire department, I'm not sure how that fence will like stand up to the barrage of equipment material being dropped off. And we didn't think about that, and then trying to figure out how it would fence. It still becomes quite an area to do, so we thought if we maybe slow down their access, like where they come in. We watched a video, a couple months ago where they're like pulling a couch out of there somehow and over those mountains of asphalt and it was sort of just incredible that the resilience is incredible.
I think your idea of just destroying whatever you can, so there's nothing left to take out that's all.
Yeah, that's what we're
So
saying.
what are the items they're taking? Because as you and I have discussed, recycling in Manitoba isn't very good, right? It's not like all of a sudden cans are worth something, therefore they're collecting those. What is it they're looking for? And what is it that we could be doing better to ensure the things that are of value are collected? Like if it's copper line, copper pipe, things of value that typical recyclers are doing. That, as Councilor Allen has said, is a great idea. Let's make that depot to drop off first, so it's hauled out of there to a recycling center. And our recycling center wins and the town of the Paul wins. what is it they're after?
So I'm still hearing that, beer cans is still a very popular item that we're seeing a lot of action for. Last year's especially was like through the roof, like the example I think I gave in the report was the van would pull up, drop, a host of people off. So we sort of like, then watch the van pull up to, one of the local vendors to do their bottle recycling, can recycling, sorry, shocking. But I think what we noticed in the recent encampment was like anything that's not tied down, like anything with a cushion on it, anything with wheels on it. They had built a fence back there, like when someone is sort of in that state of mind, like, there's a hot water tank or two back there. There's like, there's some batteries, they're setting up lights, like they were, so.
But ultimately, that's to facilitate their habit of collecting. So what is the hot item that they're collecting that we can somehow curb?
I think the cans is the biggest part of it, and then some of it is just stuff maybe for resale that they're looking for, is my guess, but. I don't know the exact answer to the hot item that they're searching for. I honestly don't know.
So, I know that in the past we've talked about compacting it.
Yeah.
Where has that gone?
Significant improvement. Again, we have a lot of turnover at the landfill and staff, so having respect from his medical leave has been huge for us lately. He cares a great deal about that place, and that's the type of sort of what's been missing out there, I believe. So having him out there compacting, we added some more to the budget last year for overtime and for further capping. We're going to cap it again with Mr. Lejeune Enterprises for winter here, probably next week. I think they're out of town, but so like we're trying to take extra steps, capping it better, making the garbage less accessible, compacting it all the time. But they are very, it's also just a place for them to hang out. It feels like if you can't be at the shelter, you've been drinking there somewhere, like, sometimes in the morning you show up and there's a bunch of lawn chairs just around like a barrel where they've had a fire and sort of, or I'm not sure if it's always for theft reasons or for pillaging. It's also just somewhere to be where they can just sort of be left alone, I think is part of it. They're using the steps at the scale shack to do drugs, it looks like, because we have like a light there, so they gather there and do drugs sometimes, it looks like, so.
Okay.
A host of activities, sorry. Yeah.
That's good. So next meeting, we're looking to have the fencing and the gate, not the fencing, the fence that's part of the gate.
Correct.
Come back for resolution.
It needs resolution.
Not resolution, no, not yet.
I think we'll be, I think we can.
Get ready with it.
Well, we should see a sketch, Sam, just so that we know what it is.
Sounds good.
Don't use the measurement because for the sensor.
That was, I use that. Again, in my defense, I had nothing to do with the measurement of a turtle line. I'm not gonna point fingers, but
Well, I heard a lot more, took a little bit of it too, so. Like 700 feet.
as the mayor said that back then, he knows I'm on the dummy end of the tape, so. I'm not on the.
Okay, 14.1.3 maintenance manual.
So during our 2025 capital request, we brought forward the idea of a maintenance manual. That we started pricing them out, looking into different ways to move forward with it. In discussion with one of the companies we do a lot of work with locally. They pitched the idea, like, why don't we look into like a preventative maintenance plan where every quarter they come to our facilities, kind of go through everything, kind of tell us if we have any issues upcoming or forthcoming. And then that way they could maybe, and I asked them, like, could we turn that into like some hands-on training for the staff? Like if you go and notice there's an issue or something that has to be cleaned or fixed, can you sort of walk our staff through it to build their confidence to help them get better and sort of look after some of these potential issues? And he was very open to it. He thought it was a good idea. So he said, yes, that's obviously something that we baked into the cake. The cost of it would be a lot cheaper that way. My fear is if we do something of a maintenance manual, it still requires someone to be following up, moving forward with it, spending time with it, making sure it's being actually followed to a T. And some of our equipment, our staff still aren't certified to work on anyway. So we're still going to need the specialists to come and look at some of those equipment and do some of those work. So maintenance manual made a lot of sense, sort of on the surface. But holistically, I think in terms of what our needs are, I think a preventative maintenance plan may go a longer way and a better spend for our government. So in saying that, our original request was for one capital thing, and so I'm requesting that we maybe go a different direction, which is why I brought the issue sheet forward to see how you guys feel.
So how are we tracking the monthly maintenance now?
That's a good question that I mean, the rec director is creating a lot of work orders through the app system that he sort of implemented on his side. We've seen, I think, I shouldn't speak for him, but I feel we've seen some.
Yeah, apart from that, there's a monthly supervision, but that supervision, I would say that if we get somebody who has more experience in that, I think we have to do better, maintaining of our city.
So not just maintenance on buildings, but the maintenance of our vehicles as well. How is that being tracked on a monthly basis?
So that's through our mechanics. They're doing it sort of, I guess, the old school way, just sort of like with stickers and
Checklists.
checklists a little bit with that. You'll see something in the 2026 capital that speak to that in terms of modernizing our fleet assessment. Because we do see that same sort of issue, I think, on that end, that we think we need to address that. Just to, I think there's been comments where I promised I wasn't gonna buy any more trucks until we had a proper assessment on the fleet. So I don't have a single passenger vehicle listed for 2026 until we kind of.
You have side panels for the one that's got four different paneling on it?
That was one that we traded down with the fire department to get. That one will be retired pretty soon, I think.
So then,
Sorry.
the vehicles, is it part of this maintenance manual then? Did this
Just facilities,
Facilities.
facilities, HVAC systems, boilers, those types of dehumidifiers, those types of things.
So
Councilor.
can you give me an example of what you're calling maintenance that you would need to bring out an outside company for? Boilers have to be inspected anyway by somebody else. HVAC has to be inspected by someone else. Your lift, elevators, they have to be inspected by somebody else. That's a legal requirement, not just that we don't have the people, that's a legal requirement, right? To issue licenses. So what kind of maintenance are we not capable of managing ourselves as department heads?
I would say the boiler maintenance is my biggest one. We've had some issues at the arena with our boiler there, with our hot water system there. I think a lack of experience in terms of how to manage that boiler, how to service that boiler, what is required, played some part in some of those issues. We had a similar issue with the boiler here as well, the air conditioning unit here as well. The dehumidifier at the rink would be another one that, we kind of had that sort of just kind of as a catastrophic sort of failure. Finding out sort of at 11th hour before the season starts is difficult. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. It's hard to jump in when you're online. So finish what you were saying.
Yeah, so we already bringing this company in to do a bunch of work for us sort of after something is already broken and damaged. So we're hopeful that if we get ahead of it and see that these issues are coming or are about to occur, or if maintenance is not being done, it's like an extra set of eyes for us to help us sort of manage that our all work. We have a lot of facilities and we don't have a lot of staff to do the work, and it's a little bit specialized in my opinion. So having a trained professional sort of guiding our staff through it, I think will go a long way with their confidence, and especially as we see any turnover in that department, then we're sort of back to square one. Sure.
So is it possible to start with the things that we can do in developing? Like, sorry, I'm just gonna be brutally honest again. When I go into the washroom at the Royce Johnson Arena and the same drywall has been damaged for the past 10 years, where they don't even try to cover with paint, I have an issue with saying, let's hire someone else to tell us what we're not doing. I think we can identify ourselves those specialized items, like we're saying, boilers and condensers, dehumidifiers, that's all specialized. I agree that we need to have those people.
Yeah.
But if our regular maintenance isn't being done, it's hard to swallow the idea of spending a bunch of money on someone else telling us what we're not doing. To me, the managers need to step up that little bit first and say, hey, we can't in these areas, and identify those areas where we need the specialists, or really sell us on that idea.
So I apologize if I maybe misconstrued what we're requesting. So what we're requesting is just preventative maintenance on just the facility equipment. So just HVAC, just boilers, just those items. I think the issue of maintenance or lack thereof is a separate but fair point.
Okay, as long as you're separated, but most of those require licenses, don't they? Like a boiler needs to be licensed every year, which means somebody has to come and identify what is the problem. Anyway, be ticketed via third-class power engineer or fourth-class
Yeah.
and identify.
They're not a specialist in maintenance. I think it's a good idea. You're gonna bring it forward for capital next year?
Yeah, can I just make a comment real quick? So, can we just get an actual scope of work and a company that what they're proposing so we actually have something to look at? And I agree that, we're not talking about doing certifications and inspections for certifications, but there is things that our guys can inspect and maintain, like belt tightness and temperatures and those type of things that are part of preventative maintenance. But I would just not want to end up having a service contract forever. So can we just get for the next meeting, just what you're proposing, what this company would be doing, what the actual service contract is? And then I guess the challenge would be is what you guys are going to do to gain the knowledge from our guys so that they're only doing the certifications and at the end of the day, and our guys can start doing the regular maintenance. Because I think that maintenance manual, Sam's been on there since 2018, if I remember. And then the last thing I would say is, as Councillor Manich has mentioned, I think we've really missed a big opportunity with our asset management plan and our work order planning, and we've been talking about for quite some time, because there is some simple stuff that we should be just replacing based on age and simple inspections.
And yeah, I just wanted to clarify, the reason I say it the way I do is because in your one paragraph, you say that this company you're looking to hire would just tell you what needs to be done. And then we have to find someone to do it anyway. It's not a service agreement for them to come and look after it. Your wording says they're going to give you the recommendations and give you a report on all the things that need to be done.
Yeah.
So
So they have hourly
it's not a
rates.
service
I
agreement to come
apologize
in
for not
and do
being.
it for us. It's just to tell us what we need to do. And my concern becomes another report, as the safety meeting had, that sits on the corner of someone's desk and it never gets done.
Yeah, so this is, I probably should have maybe wrote it differently, or I apologize for it not being clear. When I say that I want them to come in, so I don't want to hire a company to come in and do the belts and do the filters and do that sort of nonsense, like basic work that our staff can do. I want them to ensure that it's getting done, and if it's not, letting us know so that we can get our staff to sort of go and do it, or they can critique how it's being done or give us some feedback, or train maybe a new staff person how to do some of these things or how often they need to be done. So the contract is not a long thing. It was, I wish I would have brought, I didn't want to share the one I have because I only have one so far that I've procured. For example, but so next meeting I'll bring the service contract back, showing sort of the breakdown of what the proposal.
Perfect. 14.3.1, procurement policy. Bola?
Yes. In July, I brought in the procurement policy, and council made some recommendation of what we should do. So I have shared this with a lawyer, and lawyer came up with a recommendation and actually gave us another draft. So that is what I call amended. And the one I brought in July is the one I call July 2025.
Great.
So I just try to summarize what the lawyer tried to address. So that is what I have there. And I'm bringing this up for council to review it, and if you need more time, we're going to hold on this, whatever decision the council wants us to go ahead with.
Did anyone have any questions?
I have a couple of questions, but I'll add it for you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
I guess a couple of things, Bola, that's quite an intense document, so I personally would like a little bit more time because I've been busy, so I did skim through it a couple of times. But I have sort of 4 things that I picked out. How does the delegation of authority compare to other municipalities? So when it comes to spending limits and stuff with municipalities around the same size, is it in line with their like what others do? Like I don't know
Yes.
that.
Yes, at the beginning of this policy, when we're looking at it, actually I asked Laura to check all over. So we actually check before we come up with this number. It's
Yeah.
not as if we just sit down and just say, oh, this is what we wanted.
Yeah.
And I believe this will make our work easier and faster. I understand that council do answer us whenever we call, but this is kind of proposal. And this is something that I don't expect council to say yes today or tomorrow. I still want council to go ahead and possibility of kind of print the old one and the new one and compare.
Yeah. I
also request more time.
I would just look
20
for
pages.
I would just look for the like I'm looking for if that's what's done elsewhere. I also believe we don't have a CFO that was in the document. So I think we have a controller only. So I would fix the wording around that. The other quick question I have is there, because that was hard to understand, is there two sign-offs for authorization? So what I would be used to is that if the supervisor or Kurt was buying, or somebody was buying something, no matter what level, there would be always somebody else signing off on it. And because at the end of the day, council has the ultimate responsibility to have governance over community funds. So we would need to make sure that there's good controls, that even though somebody can sign up to $20,000, it still requires a couple of signatures within the department. Like, so I'm not sure if, and it's probably there, but I didn't see it real quick. And then the last thing I seen was, when I was looking at that part, is the tier rates seem to be, there might be a problem there because tier 3 says less than 25,000, but it referenced 20,000 in it, and tier 4 says less than or equal to 45,000, but then the text says it's 50,000. So I'm not really sure. I'm not sure if that's just an error. But like I said, I don't know about the rest of council, but I wouldn't mind to look at this for another couple of weeks just so I can have a better time to read it.
Does anyone else have any questions?
No, I think take our time, look it over, it doesn't have to be done. today,
Agreed.
tomorrow.
14.3.2 for clean sponsorship. It's an issue sheet from Kelsey. Are you? Okay, so then background.
I support the venture.
What do you have here? Sponsoring. So this is a sponsorship, looking for sponsorship for a fur queen on behalf of Town of Paw.
Yes, this is an issue sheet is coming from Kelsey, and this person she's our staff. And it's kind of requesting for sponsorship and the amount, 1,300.
So historically, has Town of the Paw supported something like this in the past? I don't think.
The first request ever,
Never seen solution.
if any of our staff ever come forward to make a request like this.
I would also support this proposal of having a fur queen as the Town of the Paw. My only cautious is how much time ties up staff in doing that support work. Because it's one thing about the sponsorship, but it's the other part that goes along with it. And hopefully we're not tying our staff up continuously working on this. Because they have full-time jobs already.
So I guess my question behind this is, it's not that I don't necessarily am 100% in favor of this, but what my question is, I guess, is that, you know, Town of the Pod taxpayers, we have a granting process that we have created, that we've been distributing a lot of grant money out there, and now we're also starting to donate towards sponsoring people to be fur queens. Like I just need somebody to convince me on this one, I guess is what I'm getting at. I need to be convinced on this one.
No, that's a fair comment, and we have,
I need somebody to sell this to me.
You better just speak, Councilor Hopper, right? You better just speak.
You'd be a worthy candidate. I agree, we have a grant process. This has not been done before. Traditionally, people who run for Fur Queen are sponsored by a business, service group, service organization, that sort of thing. We already give the support the festival in many ways, financially, $20,000 plus. She would be a very good candidate, but again, we're taxpayers' money. What happens if somebody else wants to call us tomorrow and asks to be sponsored as well? Does it have, are we gonna set a precedent? It has to be a town employee that we sponsor? I don't think that's a game we should be in. I don't think it's our role. I think we need to the service groups and business community to do it. We can help her, you know, with a float or something like that, from the town of Washington, something like that, but a full-on sponsorship. And it's not a personal thing. I just don't think it's our position that we should be doing that.
How would we feel about sponsorship as by name only? That she would be responsible to raise the funds where the Town of the Paw is not on the hook for any of the dollars, to make it a fair playing field to ensure the taxpayer dollars aren't supporting a venture. It would be name only.
But when you're sponsored, you're expected to supply like a certain amount of things.
But it's on her as well, right? I know as a normal sponsor, they would buy the items that Kelsey has listed. But if we're worried about setting a new precedent, or as you said, definitely, you could have 5 women show up at the door. Well, if she gets to run, I want to run too. We could have that issue. So would we be okay with a name only to say, yes, you could use the Town of the Pond name, but we are not in a position to financially assist in that venture, just as something as another option.
If we did that, we're already putting her fundraising, she's gonna be short $2,000 in fundraising because she's gonna have to raise money to buy her own mucklucks and that sort of thing. So it puts her at a disadvantage. I just don't think it's our position. And it's, I wish her well. I'm sure if we find, if we're a service group, I'd be happy to do it, but it's just something I don't think we should be in.
If she's at a disadvantage, and if we do decide to do what council manager stated there, and she's at a disadvantage, that's her choice to take that on.
Yeah.
That would be, that known to her before she did that. On a one-off, I'd be okay with doing what council manager stated, as long as we provide it both financially and in kind, we're not obligated on anything. And then after this, we have a policy developed going forward for future requests like this, so that we know what we're doing.
The cheap town, the boss sponsored me, but they didn't give me any financial help.
I'm kind of guessing for a candidate, you do need a name behind it. Yep. It's a business order, so this would just get her foot in the door. She's responsible financially to go get after that. So if, frankly, if I was her, and I made that, or made that offer, I'd be looking elsewhere before I come back to the town hall. Now, maybe she's already tried that and couldn't, or we don't know, so we're giving her a chance to get her foot in the door.
And it would be a good way to support, as it says, a 7-year employee. So we support her as her personal ventures as well, and she is a great representative as the Town of the Pond. She would be a good ambassador in that sense. So I stand by the idea of maybe it's only a name only to take that or alleviate that idea of money.
Go ahead. I'm going to say, both sides. I can understand, like a name only, but, being part of, the Fur Queen family, there's a lot of work there, and, I'm just worried, like, does she have a crew behind her? Because it takes a lot of people to raise that money and fundraising, and it's, with her working full-time and with us, like, being a town, like, it's, yeah, it's just a lot of work, and it's so nice to have her name, for her to put her name forward, because it's a great learning experience for these girls. And, yeah, there's, like I said, I'm a big part for Queens in the past, and I wish her all the luck. And hopefully she can find another sponsor that would be able to stand behind her and support her more, because you need a lot of people. So that's my point.
You mentioned it's never been done before. I remember a lot, many years ago, that, the Fur Queens actually came from all over the north. There was Miss Town of the Paw, there was Miss Limplon, Miss Snow Lake, Miss Thompson. Were they not sponsored by their communities in some way, shape, or form?
My,
Is that just name only?
my understanding is that, like, in Finland, they'd have the Trout Festival, and the Trout Queen or whatever they're called, would winner, and then they would have a year to tour around to other festivals in the north, so they would come to Trappers Festival the year they had won, and be Miss Flin Flon or whatever. They would probably have had their own sponsor during their pageant to become Miss Trout Festival or whatever, I'm sorry, I don't know the title. And then once they get that, they're Miss Football or Miss Football part. And same thing with Thompson for Nickel Days. I don't know what Snow Lake was. But that was my impression of how that went. So when our fur queen would go to Flin Flon, she would be Miss Football.
Gary?
Could I just pose a question? We're going around in circles. We'll find out if we support it fully, or if we want to ask her if we can sponsor you without any financial ties. Or just, sorry. But I'm saying, if you want to go with the council manager and say we can sponsor you, but financially, I think that's, I just say, thank you, good luck. Fortunately, it's not our position to do that. That'd be where I stand on. We can keep going around and see what you want to do with it.
So are we asking for a vote, or are we trying to somehow compromise
Or
on
you can
this
bring it back
somehow?
to the next council meeting, or you make a decision right here.
I mean, we could probably have a vote, maybe.
It's just, I think.
Yeah.
Give the council managers, if that's a consensus, give her that offer. We can, and she'll.
You have the right to say your
time for from work, like, other business, do some stuff like that. But as far as financial, we're not in a position to do that. As you said yourself, the Premier, we have a grant process. This kind of falls in with that. Maybe that's something we can look at next year. Start,
Yeah.
Put a grant in next year to sponsor a fur queen, take the applications when they come in. But this
Yeah.
year,
And that, I sort of agree with you now. You're saying that Councillor Hopper has said if we don't have any process to really do that, so that's a good point. And maybe that's what we need to do. I personally wouldn't want to, if we're going to sponsor, I would rather be a sponsor, not say, hey, we'll give you the name and not give you any of the funds. And I am concerned about the, as Councillor Commodore said, with the amount of effort that's going to require from the staff to support her. So I think that's that would be my position as well. Let's maybe get a process in place for next year, and so I would be supporting that direction. I would like to do it, but there's good points being made.
So bring back for next meeting for a vote, or vote tonight?
I mean, consensus was everybody wanted who wants to do it. Like I think we're all sort of leaning that maybe it should wait or what.
Perhaps Councillor Commodore or Hopper can answer, but is there not a deadline for when they would need to have sponsorship lined up by? I think it's coming fairly quickly, is it not?
Yeah, they're in full swing.
Yeah, so I don't think it could wait.
I think you put your name in, you might not be sponsored. You have to be registered already. That date is passed, I think.
Yeah, it is.
It's up to you to find your own sponsor.
Okay.
So do we want to go ahead and do the sponsorship this year, one way or the other? Or let's get a process for next year and know that, we'll support her staff-wise as much as we can to, just to workplace.
So process for next year.
I would say, like, with Councillor Hopper said, I would like to go with what he said. Not be her sponsor, but if she wanted help fundraising or whatever, anybody could step up. But we need a process to start with. The grant process or whatever.
I concur.
So should I bring it to next council meeting? Vote?
Those are the just sponsor the election process
So,
this year.
okay.
But I guess convey to her that it's not because we don't want to, we just don't have a process properly.
Process, okay.
I guess you could refer to the grant system for that. And, next year, it'll be something we'll have on the grant system hopefully.
Yes, we've already posted on the next grant one, we've already put it on our website for people that are interested in that.
Okay. Land acknowledgement 14.3.3.
So this issue sheet is coming from Mayo.
Good idea.
Yeah, no, I thought, you know, where I wish I seen it as I was driving into another municipality. I seen such the good work that that Sam and Tanvir and the crews did on that one sign. And I thought that, you know, continue on our path to reconciliation and learning. Maybe we could meet with the leadership of Opaskwayak and on our local MMF and see if we can craft up some words around us. We talked about doing this on a plaque already, so that's my proposal. I don't think it would cost.
I've seen it also going into other communities, and it's extremely basic, and it's also acknowledging. It's all part of truth and reconciliation.
So we'll put that on unfinished business.
It'll be later. I love the idea of truth and reconciliation, but I feel that words are very hollow. And I feel that we're constantly saying land acknowledgements, but we're not doing anything about it. Whenever you do drive into a Treaty 5 territory or any other treaty territory, you will see signage. It's not necessarily on a municipality, but when, for example, I'm coming from Saskatchewan, there's a sign to say, I am now entering Treaty 5 territory. I don't know if duplication is necessary. I think our actions need to speak louder than the words that we put on a banner or any sign. Although I do support a true acknowledgement plaque that we first talked about years ago, I would like to see a real honest recognition of efforts that we want to make and not just words that we keep saying. I know it's kind of a trendy thing right now of bashing land acknowledgements, and that's not what I'm doing. It's a matter of let's be truthful in our words, not just put words everywhere and say, this is what we do, but we don't do anything about it.
I would beg to differ to say that Town of the Pot is participating in truth and reconciliation. I would also say that we are very, very conscientious of the calls that are out there, and that we have been commended for not just lip service, that we have actions that we have been taking place. There are multiple events that we attend on a monthly basis. Last month alone, there were 5 events that we participated with the Opaskwayak Cree Nation, who at the beginning of each of our council meetings, we say that they are our friends and neighbors. And they are not only our friends, but they are also our neighbors. And they acknowledge that as well. We have participated in, I'm not trying to toot our horn by saying, because we can never do enough, right? But what I can say is that we are being acknowledged for some of the work that we have been doing.
And those are the actions I'm talking about. That's exactly what we need to continue doing and build off of. I feel that adding an extra banner doesn't add to our efforts. We want to continue those efforts and that relationship more so than saying that we do it. That is tooting our own horn in a sense.
I think what we have to do is
It's also
move
an
forward
action.
with the plaque that we wanted to do.
Yep, that's where, I think that's a better starting point. Get that plaque. I know there's been mixed messages on who's responsible for doing it, but let's sit down and even have a steering committee if we have to, and sit down and let's figure out what's on that plaque and get it done. So we can include it or incorporate it into our front development that we're talking about possibly doing next year. So.
I completely disagree with that approach alone. So I think that there should be, I would suggest that we really look to see what the purpose of a land acknowledgement is and what it's doing. And it actually does things. What we're doing right now is triggering about understanding and awareness about what this does, prompts curiosity and such. So if you go and look at the calls to actions, this does meet 4 or 5 of them. So whether it's a plaque or whether it's a sign, I don't think it hurts to do both, to be honest with you. But that's just my opinion. I know that I will continue to work to promote that respect and that relationship building, and I do take a little bit of I do believe we're doing a lot to build that to continue down that journey as a community. I know that I put my head to the bed at night knowing that we're working towards that. So
And I think doing both, there's nothing wrong with doing both. Give us some, you've gone to other, like I've seen the Welcome to Treaty 5 sign and whatever the council manager said. I haven't seen anything that a community maybe put up, the wording on that, how it would be, but we can look at some examples and maybe get something up for.
I'll take a picture of the one, drive into Winnipeg.
Okay.
When you drive into Winnipeg, you see it right on the side of the road, right under Welcome to Winnipeg.
Okay.
Like, I agree, let's do both.
That's a big tip that I have.
Well, every dollar is, like we just had a discussion of $1,300 for a FERC means, I mean, every dollar is big to me, but sometimes just words are action. If you have it out there visible, it tells the whole town exactly what we're doing, nothing against Mayor Murphy and his land acknowledgement every council meeting, but I think there's about 4 people that hear that every council meeting, so this would be seen by thousands of people. So it'd be much more visible, and it would publicly make us follow up on those words, because we're the ones putting them up.
So a work in progress.
Well, again, we've been, as has been mentioned, we've been talking about this plaque for two plus years. I mean, we've got a year left, guys. So I guess what I'm looking at, we can easily sit down with the leadership, the new leadership, and RM, and quickly put down, and would cost not very much money to have this on a banner on the bottom of our 2 new signs. So.
I think this would be a great thing to break bread over with the new council. Break that. Oh, we can both break.
Could we leave it up to you or Mayor Murphy to set up a meeting there with the chief and whoever wants to bring with them, and we can talk about it.
Yeah, I have reached out to him. I was just letting things settle down for them, Councillor Hopper, and we'll set up a meeting in early November with them and their council. I think there's a couple of opportunities to look at, like planning districts and not only reconciliation, having community safety sort of discussions, and some opportunities there as well. So.
Good. Okay, so now we are on to 14 point, oh, what's that?
Go ahead and put that on before you go in camera on.
Okay, that's all I have left, is to go into in camera. So you,
The 404 Fisher Avenue, could we add that into in camera discussion? That was a presentation by the owners of the avenue. Nobody has any objection, rather than let it sit for 2 weeks without a decision. You know, talk about it tonight, come up with something.
sure. Does anyone post that?
No.
Okay, so we'll move to the in-camera portion now.
So, Tanvir, can I stay on this or do I have to call in?
I'll prefer to close everything and then start the meeting again so that you could join. If that's okay.
Okay, so I'll just reconnect with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. So you now move ourselves into the in-camera portion of the committee of the whole with Deputy Mayor Atkinson and the chair to discuss matters requiring urgent